For years, if you were looking to buy a really quick premium electric sports sedan, the Tesla Model 3 has really fit that vibe almost perfectly. Ever since this car first came out back in 2017, it has quickly become the best-selling EV globally, at least until Tesla introduced their own new vehicle, the Model Y, back in 2021. Now, ever since then, a lot of other manufacturers are trying to come in and steal the thunder away from Tesla with their own quick versions of their premium electric vehicles. And for 2025, it looks like Hyundai is ready to enter that fray with the introduction of this vehicle here. This is the 2025 Ioniq5N, a track-capable, high-performance version of the already excellent Ioniq5. And what this model offers is up to 641 horsepower, about 130 more than the Tesla. And unlike the sedan back there, this has the versatility of a hatchback. So if you guys have roughly $60,000 to spend on a really quick daily driver of an EV, which one of these two is actually the better buy? Stay tuned to find out. So I have been waiting a long time to finally get together the revised 2024 Model 3 Performance with its closest rival, and this time it's an unlikely rival because, as you guys know, Hyundai doesn't typically have the street cred that you might get from like a Volkswagen brand or from BMW or Mercedes, but regardless, this car I've been very familiar with because I actually owned the Model 3 Performance when it first came out back in 2017. As you guys also know, Tesla typically does not give out press loans, at least they do so to a very select group of people. So we actually borrowed this Model 3 Performance from our editor, videographer, and friend, Rob Lamond, which you guys know he's usually behind the camera. Today, however, Rob, come join us. We're going to be talking about your car, your new car, because you have only had this for what, like a month now?
Yeah, a little less than a month, actually.
Okay, and you replaced a Model Y Performance. Why did you decide to stick with Tesla?
Yeah, stuck with Tesla. I came from a much different car, Civic Type R, 6-speed manual, gas burner, and went to something that was a little bit of an experiment for me. The Model Y was great, loved it. The simplicity of charging it every night and not having to worry about too much maintenance and stuff, plus it was really fast. I was honestly debating getting back into a gas car. We've had that conversation.
Oh yeah, I was trying to convince him to go back to a gas car. I wasn't able to succeed, unfortunately.
I almost did. I mean, you know, BMW M340, Integra Type S, but honestly, when it came down to it, this answered my question of exactly what I wanted. Something lighter, something nimbler, something just as faster than my Y. Oh, yeah. I love the way it looks too.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, some people are probably already in the comments going, you can't be comparing this to this because you should be comparing it to a Model Y Performance, but the Y Performance is considerably slower than the Ioniq5N. The two specs are pretty much on top of each other. 2.9 seconds for Rob's car, 3.1 for this vehicle. But let's go ahead and, before we talk about the power figures, let's talk about the styling a little bit. Because Rob, what do you think of the revised Model 3's front end, and what do you think, or how do you think it compares to the Ioniq5?
Sure. So, I mean, the one that you had, the blue one, it was a handsome car. It looked good. I mean, it did look like an EV. It was very, very easy to kind of distinguish it as a Tesla. I remember when I first saw pictures of this one, I wasn't exactly sold on it. I was kind of like, okay, thinner headlights, everyone's doing thinner lights all around, of course, so we're going to do that. It looks a lot more sleek. I mean, but the thing that I really like about this when you see it in person, Tesla did a great job actually spending time to make it differentiated from the standard 3 this time. I mean, it had a lot more aggressive intakes on the side, you know, the lip of the bottom. I think even the creases on the hood are a little bit different. I'm not sure about that, but
I think the hood is the same, but you're right. The front fascia is definitely more aggressive. You have more sculpted features, more air intakes, especially this one here is functional. The headlights have been updated. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Tesla Roadster front fascia, which is, you know, not really a bad thing.
No fog lights though, unfortunately.
No fog lights. They got rid of the fog lights, but
Yep.
This car also just sits really low. It has around 5 inches of ground clearance. It's a sports sedan versus this, Hyundai likes to call it an SUV.
Oh, yes.
But Rob, it really just gives me hot hatch vibes. What do you
remember
think?
when I was editing this video for you when you first drove it out in California. By itself, it looks amazing. It really does. It looks a lot more boy racer, which, you know, maybe appealed to me a couple or maybe a decade ago, years. It looks good though. I mean, the red lip at the bottom reminds me of my old Type R. It definitely is more boy racer, whereas my car is a little bit more mature. I'm old and decrepit now, so that's okay. I need something that's a little bit less boy racer. But honestly, I like it. It does look aggressive. It looks fun. It looks playful, and I'm sure it drives that way as well, right?
Yeah, so Rob hasn't had a chance to drive it yet. We're going to get these two cars out on the road, and you're going to see Rob's basically raw, unfiltered impressions of first driving this car. But let's go ahead and lift up the hood. I'll have you lift up the hood of the of your car while I talk about the specs on this car. So unlike the regular Ioniq5, this does not have a frunk. Hyundai had to remove the frunk to, I guess, make space for the larger electric motors. This vehicle delivers 601 horsepower all the time. That's right, a Hyundai with over 600 horsepower. Now, if you push the little NGB button, which gives you an overboost for an extra 10 seconds, you have 641 horsepower and 568 pound-feet of torque. I mean, that wasn't long ago where those kind of power figures were for like a really high-performance Lamborghini Performante or something like that. So it's kind of crazy to think that. This car has a 1-speed direction gear transmission, dual electric motors, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in around 3.1 seconds with a 161 mile per hour top speed. 84 kilowatt hour battery pack, doing around 221 miles of range. But Rob, you got the hood open on your car. This is where I guess you have a little bit of advantages. So tell us a little bit about your Tesla in terms of specs.
Some advantages, some disadvantages, and I'll apologize in advance for not being able to rattle off everything quite as quickly as Mr. Bay over here, the machine, and all of his specifications.
If you forget something, I'll fill in. It's fine.
The biggest thing you're going to see right off the bat is one. So I have struts, of course. So same there. I like that. But I have a big hole, no engine that you can see, so I can put stuff in there.
About 3.8 cubic feet actually worth of stuff.
Yeah, well, I can't fit in there. Maybe a child, but we wouldn't do that, especially on a hot day today. They'd be sweating and dying, kind of like I am right now. But yeah, if you're not going to put anything in there, the powertrain specs, like you said, they're similar, but the Hyundai is a little more power. So we got 546 pound-feet of torque, I believe, and 510 horsepower.
510 horsepower, yes.
Yep. So which is interesting because Mr. Musk didn't like to disclose all of the power figures before, but I guess they're getting a little more confident now that the car is quick as hell. 2.9 seconds, 0 to 60. It's lighter, 4,000 pounds compared to 4,800 pounds.
So
yeah,
it's
a little
pretty
more
significant difference. So the Hyundai needs the additional power to keep up with this vehicle, and by the numbers, this car is technically going to be faster, which we'll talk about later on the driving scene.
Can yours tow? You even notice the end?
No, this actually is not recommended to tow, which is the same as yours. Right. But if you go for a Model Y performance, that'll tow up to 3,500 pounds, I think.
It was 3,500
with the tow package. So that's kind of you lose.
That'd be silly.
Yeah, you wouldn't tow with this.
And the battery's a little bit smaller. 82.
It's a little 82 kilowatt hour battery pack and about 303 miles of range. Top speed's a little faster on yours, 163 versus 161.
And I've been seeing that. 303 is what we charged it to full one time when I came up to your place, I think, and it was showing 303. I've been charging it to 80%, and it's usually been showing around 270 on the trip computer, which is
what I got when I drove your car up to PA in real world. This has been averaging around 215 in real world driving, so there's a pretty significant difference.
She's a bigger girl, it's okay.
Right, this car is also significantly less aerodynamic, 0.32 coefficient of drag versus 0.22 on his car.
She's
so again,
slippery.
She is very slippery because it's a sedan, and Rob, you closed the hood the right way. People were yelling at me about that in your video, just the video on that. But
people like to yell at you for stupid
they
things
absolutely
all the time.
do. But let's go ahead and talk about the side profile, because this is where this is showing like a mild refresh of the vehicle. Although I do like the new wheels. Rob, are you a fan of those 20-inch wheels?
Oh, you know, you remember what I told you. Remember when the spy video came out of the red one being filmed somewhere in Europe, and it had these wheels? I was like, no, I don't care. I'm not getting it with those wheels on there. They look terrible. But again, they're spy videos. You know, people couldn't really see them. I'm still not. It's not my favorite feature on the car. I'm used to them now, though. I know some people have taken the wheel covers off. You can take the small ones off or the larger ones off.
Because that's plastic.
I'm not going to take either one or the other. If it's going to be it, it's going to be all of them. Because I've seen the wheels that they look pretty good. I mean, they're directional bi-spoke. You know, they look great. I mean, tires 235, 35 profile. Bigger
275s in the rear, so staggered. And you have a 14-inch brake rotor. These are the high-performance brakes clamped down by that red painted caliper. So again, this is, you know, it's got the hardware changes, and it also has adaptive suspension. The first time the Tesla's put that on this car, and they lowered it about a half an inch. It looks good, to be honest. I like the stance that it has. I like the black accents. I kind of wish this was black, but some people don't like.
You said that, but I'm happy with it white.
Okay,
I like it. I think that would have been a little
thing.
too much black on the side, especially with the wheels. That's honestly one of the biggest reasons I changed. I originally had a blue one ordered, and I changed to white. One, I just couldn't be exactly the same spec as Sophia, and also someone on my builder ordered a blue one, but it's fine.
Oh yes.
But no, now that I see white, the contrast between all the black accents, especially the wheels with the white exterior, it's perfect, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and also glass roof. It doesn't open up to vent air, but it's like 100 degrees out here, guys, and this is where I actually hate the glass roof because the sun beats down and roasts my black hair when I'm sitting inside the car. What's interesting, Rob, is your car, even though it's a sedan, is actually the longer vehicle. It's 189.9 inches long.
I see that.
That's 189. I'm sorry, this is 185.9 inches long. That's 185.6 inches long.
A longer wheelbase.
The wheelbase on that is 5 inches longer, 118 versus 113.9. So it's a pretty significant wheelbase. That's kind of where that car has so much space. The charge port is also located here. I love how Tesla is really well integrated. And this car obviously can use Tesla's Tesla's supercharger network. It can accept up to 250 kilowatts, which is surprising because it's actually faster than that car. That car accepts up to 235, so...
I wish it had a button to close the door, though.
I agree, because Hyundai gives you a button. To close this, you basically have to like push it down or... Yeah, I don't like doing that.
Sorry.
I don't like doing that, but I think they should have just thrown in a button back there, and you can see at the rear here, style-wise, I like the carbon lip spoiler.
Yep.
I like the new taillights, and then this right here reminds me of a Plaid.
I know everyone's saying that, but like you said, without the carbon sleeve motor, without 3 motors actually, right? That's the deal for getting
this
Plaid.
is only dual motor, correct?
Yep. But I like the badge; it's nice. You know, it's fine. It's nice little
I think it's very
reference.
elegant. It's timeless. I think it's instantly recognizable as a Tesla.
You can tell that Musk is a sci-fi fan though, because Spaceballs reference, the wheels are warp wheels.
Right.
It's I know you don't get Star Trek, but
I don't watch Star Trek.
It's okay. Some of us do.
And in terms of cargo, this is a trunk, so you get Tesla says a maximum of 24 cubic feet, but that's if you add the front trunk and the space that you also get underneath here. That's like an additional 4 cubic feet. There's around 15 cubic feet total here. The seats do fold down.
Sorry
so this
for
is
all my crap.
Yes, it is your personal car, so you get a little pass there.
This is up, you do have the secondary redundant turn signal and brake light.
Which is nice. I mean, that's a requirement, of course, because you need to have some kind of tail light function there.
Did the old 3, did all the lights disappear when you lifted up the trunk?
It did not.
Interesting.
So this is a new little design here. But let's walk over to the Ioniq5, Rob, because this is really your first time seeing the car up close and in person. So we'll go on the other side over here. So again, this is supposed to be an SUV, but Rob, you get hot hatch vibes from it, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, this car in general, when it first came out, even the end, it gave you that whole, okay, it is an SUV, but it looks like a hatch. It's just like it grew 115% if you were to apply like something to it. 120% of a standard hatch.
It's like it's a big hot hatch.
Yeah, it's like a GTI. You know, went to the gym and did a little work.
Right. No, this car looks like something Volkswagen should have designed. Like it should have a Volkswagen or Audi badge, but you know what? You have to give credit where it's due. Hyundai had the balls to create something like this and give it the kind of performance credentials. I mean, just check out the wheels. Super intricate design. They're actually bigger than the one on Rob's car. 21-inch wheel, 275 by 35 staggered tires all around, a 15.2-inch rotor at the front. So bigger than yours, Rob. Those are the biggest production brakes Hyundai has ever put on a vehicle. So they're serious. She's
a heavy girl. She needs to stop.
She is a heavy girl.
You drove it on the track.
I did.
You were able to, not
You
die.
could feel the weight on a track. On the road, I don't really feel the weight quite as much. The one thing I am annoyed about, and you're probably annoyed too, Rob, is no sunroof. They don't offer a sunroof on this car, so hopefully Hyundai will eventually offer that. You also have pop-out door handles, but they pop out when the car is unlocked. The Teslas, you have to kind of push it in first.
I like my door handles better.
I do agree.
Metal, they feel more high quality.
Yeah, I do agree. These do feel a little bit cheaper. I like the fact that the windows are tinted back here. Yours is a fishbowl. You got to get it tinted.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
And then your charge port doors here, you can see it's also powered. Not quite as flushly mounted as the Model 3, but this car runs on the 800-volt architecture. It'll accept up to 235 kilowatts. Hyundai says 10 to 80% in about 18 minutes. Rob's car can do it in about 15 minutes, or it'll do 142 miles in about 15 minutes. They both charge the same on level 2.
Mine doesn't have the vehicle to load feature either. You can't charge stuff with it.
No, which I feel like Tesla could easily add that.
Have you seen anyone ever doing that? I've never seen it.
I mean, I guess
let
if
me
you
charge my phone. Let me pull over.
Hey, if you guys have done it before, like you've gone camping, let us know in the comment section below. But I love the rear of this car, Rob. What are your thoughts?
Yep, the pixelated theme. It's sharp. I like it. I mean, it's very retro. You know that the concept that they were talking about. I forget what the hell it was called.
Oh, the RM71 concept.
Sure, whatever. That one looks hot as hell. It looks really good. I mean, it looks like a car from the 80s. It's just electric now, but it has little vibes of that everywhere. And I appreciate how it carries throughout interior also. I mean, all the pixelated themes go through there, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the regular Ioniq, this is about 2 inches wider, 3 inches longer. You can really see that the body, the extra length comes out here, especially when it protrudes out. You have more of the pixels, some fake vents here, which I don't love. But I think the overall design is very cohesive. Love the wing, love the rear spoiler they added. And then, of course, it being an SUV, it has a ton more cargo space. I mean, there's around 26 cubic feet with the seats up. There's a little bit of underfloor storage here, Rob, but not quite as deep as yours.
Not as much, but you know, seeing this really makes me wish they made that a liftback. I mean, if they had made the 3 a liftback, that would make the icing on the cake, a cherry on top. That really would have been perfect. So I put stuff in there. I have a lot of luggage. We both go to the airport a lot, and having to put my luggage and crap in the back of mine, I've hit my head on the lid a couple of times.
Yes, and you're very tall as well. This has all the extra headroom and space that you would prefer. Can you fit it into there?
Pretty much.
Just barely. Okay, that's good. The seats fold down, expands it to just under 60 cubic feet. So again, you really should be comparing this to a Model Y, but what's interesting, Rob, is the Y is now cheaper than your car. So, and it has a lot less power, so.
Until they refresh it.
Right, you could compare the two. They're the same price.
New Y performance, when they refresh it, will be an interesting comparison to this also, I think. It won't be as fast though, I don't think.
No, it'll be heavier, but do you think you'll regret it when it comes out?
No,
okay.
I wanted a sedan. I'm happy where I am.
You're back being in a sedan. All right, well, let's go ahead and hop into the interior and we can talk about all the features and how they're different from each other. So moving on to the interior, we have Rob sitting in the driver's seat already. This is your first time sitting in the driver's seat
First
of
time
the Ioniq 5.
Yep.
And yeah, so as you can see, it's got sport seats just like your Tesla. Let me go ahead and get in here as well. What do you think of the sport seats, Rob?
Well, not only did I have moved back about a foot since I'm taller than you,
yes,
but
I'm short.
You know, getting in and it's sitting up higher, that's absolutely the first thing you noticed. You know, they're a little bit bigger. They're for a little bit bigger person, I think. I know that a lot of the concerns with the sport seats in my 3 is that people who were either bigger or taller weren't going to fit very well. We can talk about that when we get over there, though. This is a more comfortable seating position.
Really?
Comfort-wise.
So you like sitting up higher?
Well, I mean, I have more space for my legs to drop in this seat, which makes sense. It's a taller car.
Right.
Whereas mine, they're more stretched out. It gives you more of that old school Toyota Tacoma vibes where your legs are up in the ceiling, you know?
It is a considerably smaller car. We'll talk about that when we
The
get
seats themselves, though, they're comfortable. You know, they have a lot of bolstering on both sides, especially up here, actually. There's more than I thought.
Okay.
A bigger person actually may get a little snug in here, but no, they're good. I would probably take more time to adjust them, but I don't want to screw up your sitting position since they're manual.
It's fine. I mean, I also love the fact that the seats, they have like an Alcantara material as well, as opposed to being all leather, and they're still ventilated. Do you feel the cooled seat, Rob? Which is nice?
I do. Yep. Which is nice.
Yeah, and your car has ventilated seats, which we'll talk about later on. But you know, once you get in here, Rob, what is the vibe that you're getting? Because you know, obviously it's a lot more traditional, but it's also still futuristic. But are you liking it?
I think traditional is the wrong word if you're coming from a regular old hatchback, because it still looks a lot more futuristic. I mean, the screen that goes across, plus all your controls on the steering wheel. Hyundai does a great job with putting all these, almost BMW-esque, which, as you always mentioned, Mr. Bierman came over and had a lot of influence on them. But I mean, this just looks like a BMW steering wheel with all the different colors and options to put the different modes in and stuff like that. But
right, it's almost button overload here.
A little bit.
If I asked you, like, Rob, put it into the, like, I don't know, most aggressive N mode, would you be like, which button?
This one or this one?
Again, Rob has never been. He hasn't driven the car yet. He's his first time sitting there. So there's a lot of buttons here, like that button. What do you think that does?
N grin boost. Makes it go fast for what, 5 seconds?
10 seconds.
10
over
seconds.
boost feature.
Okay.
So yeah, so you have the same kind of display layout, two 12.3-inch displays. Your car has like obviously the 15-inch single display. Do you like having the instrument panel behind you, or is that?
You know, going back and forth between a car that only has the single display here and one that has a traditional IP right in front of you, it makes no difference to me. I think that Tesla does a good job putting all the information you need pertinent in the upper left, because you don't look that much further away. So when you're in a traditional car, it's still natural for you. Everything's right in front of you, you know? I mean, I've never driven a car or owned a car that has a heads-up display. I still think that would be great to have, but honestly, when we're on press events and they have them, I'm like, okay, it's fine. This is perfect. This works just fine.
Yeah,
you know?
No, I think it looks great.
Although,
that is actually like a place where you can put like magnets there. I think it's actually just like a magnetic area.
Oh, good.
That's what I've read online. I've never tried it, but
you can magnet your speeding tickets here when you get pulled over.
Right. Now, in terms of the materials, you can see there's like a faux stitching here on the upper door panel. It's kind of carried over here. I will say that I don't like how dark this interior is. It has the blue stitching on it, but I wish Hyundai would offer like a red interior or a light color interior. I think that would have done, looked really good with this combination. This is also unique to the end, this fixed console that has a little bit of a knee pad here to kind of brace yourself if you're going on track driving.
That.
Wireless phone charger there is fantastic. And then, unlike your car, this car does come with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yes, there it is, traditional CarPlay.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll talk about.
It takes up the whole screen too.
It does. So we'll talk about why your car doesn't have it when we get inside the interior. But I do want to first show you something, Rob. So we'll go over here. We'll go to the N mode there. This is where you can basically go into the launch control, go into your performance options. So right now, Rob, the car is in its normal mode.
Okay.
I want you to push that N button there.
This left N button.
So that puts it into your most aggressive N mode, and then push this button there. That puts it into the E shift mode.
Oh, yes.
So now we have, like, go ahead, blip the throttle like it's a gas car.
Automatic. Hold on, you want to race? Okay, that part was cool. The actual induction and the rev is stupid, but yes.
The car farts.
And it comes from the back left, too.
It sounds like it's coming from the exhaust.
That's cool.
And feel free to bounce off the limiter, it'll do it.
That's stupid. That's cool. I like the exhaust portion. I don't like the sound. I could have made it sound a little more real. I know it's video gamey sort of, but it still puts a smile on your face.
I think you'll change your opinion when we drive it, because Rob again hasn't driven it. Now you can change the sound profile. So that was ignition. It's supposed to sound like the Elantra N's 2-liter turbo. This is evolution. It's supposed to sound like that RM71 concept car.
From the driver position, actually, that sounds better. I like that one better than ignition.
Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And then supersonic is like a jet, which you should like because you like planes.
That doesn't like a jet, but okay. That's my Jetsons, maybe. Jetsons.
So that has a little party trick when we're driving when you shift, so we'll show you guys that later on during the driving scene. But I personally like ignition. Again, it's a gimmick, but heck, if Hyundai did it really well, I think that it's okay. I think that if they can add some kind of visceral something to put a smile on your face, and Rob, I'll be curious because I think it will.
I appreciate it.
Definitely
I appreciate that they did that. You know, even though I don't love every bit of it, I appreciate that they did that.
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's very unique. No other EV has a sound like that. You can see there's all these different controls here for your launch control. You can even adjust the road grip level, which is kind of cool. There's the E-shift, which is turning on the revving and the shifting part. There's a battery preconditioning, N pedal, drift optimizer. This thing will roast its rear tires if you'd like. You can also go into a torque distribution. So your car kind of has something similar to this?
It's not quite as detailed, but yeah, there's options. But this is definitely more of a track focused screen, I think, than the 3 Performance is.
Yeah, no, it's great that Hyundai is doing that. It really shows you that they're serious. This car, to me, feels like it was an EV designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. And I think you'll really notice that when we go into the driving scene a little bit further on. In terms of storage over here, this is probably where this car has way more storage than your vehicle.
Absolutely. Well, mine has a good amount, but it's not as easily accessible. You have to move things and close and open lids. You have the bottle holder.
Yeah, you can even put that away and
make it bigger. Put something big there. Press the buttons to reopen them if you want to. And actually, I like this. Cup holders actually work. We'll talk more about that when I get into my car. But
yep, the center console here is a little small. I think yours is bigger, it's deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, you have more of the open storage over here. The glove box in this car, however, Rob, huge.
Oh my God, you can actually put something in it.
Yeah, you guys will see how tiny his glove box is when they decided to redesign the dash and everything. It has
about the size, about how you use it.
Yes, it has a 10-speaker, I believe, Bose stereo, which sounds okay. I think yours has the much better sounding audio.
Yeah, it does.
And then in terms of headroom, Rob, it probably feels a lot more headroom spacious in here without the sunroof.
I don't feel like I lack headroom in my car, probably because of the glass roof, but physical space there is more in here. But I still would want a sunroof. I would want a moonroof.
Yeah, sadly not available. But let's go into the back seat, Rob. I want you to sit back there actually, because I want you to show how much space is back here, because this is where the Ioniq5 really has an advantage over, the Model 3.
Yeah, and I'm 6'2". I'm not Sophion level heights here. So let's see, get in. There's no peasant blockers.
No,
Sophion
they actually had that on the regular limited. They took it out on this car.
Weight saving. It's a whole.
I guess so. They also took out the heated rear seats back here, which they used to have on the limited.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now the seats, they do still slide forward and back, so there's actually a lever you can.
There we go.
I think you can slide.
There's the SUV port of it coming. Although it doesn't. I feel like it should go back more, but I guess that's fine. I got plenty of space.
Right. The seats also do recline. You have about 39.5 inches of legroom, which is about 5 inches more than your car.
The underfoot storage, or under seat foot area, is a little bit cramped. I can't really get my feet underneath it. I wish there was a little bit more, but no, there is definitely more space back here. I can get comfy in my car in the back seat, but this is definitely I'd be comfortable on a trip back here. I would not be comfortable in my car, I feel like.
Okay.
But no, I like the materials. I like how it's finished back here. End badges, USB-C, USB-C. Air vents are up on the sides. I have a armrest, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I have an armrest with 2 cup holders will flip down here.
Oh, thanks for mocking me. That's fine. But no, I think that obviously if you need to use this as a family vehicle, this is where the Ioniq5, gives you that advantage. But again, if you guys need that, there's also the Model Y. But again, the Model Y is due for a refresh, and it's not as quick as this vehicle.
I also feel like you can hear that idle exhaust sound louder and more deep from back here. Maybe because the door's open, but I feel like you're closer to the outlet of the exhaust. You can actually hear it more.
The outlet of the exhaust.
Yeah,
you mean the rear speakers?
Where it would normally be. It's back there. You can feel it more in the back. If you put a fart can on your Civic, you're gonna hear it more at the back of the car.
All right, let's hop into your Tesla and see what that interior is like.
All right, so now we're moved over to my Model 3 Performance, and this time Sophion is in the front seat. Not in my position, but made some adjustments.
Yeah, so I have to say, Rob, getting into your car after just being in the Ioniq5, and this thing feels so much more futuristic. It's very minimalistic, which is very much the way Tesla likes to do things. I love the white interior. I mean, this is what I think Hyundai should be looking into offering. I also love the sports seats. These are heated and ventilated. Love the little plaid-like logo on the back of the seats. But I definitely get a sense, Rob, and you're the tall one, this feels considerably smaller in here.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I mean, getting in there, it feels narrower, which you said the car is narrower.
Yes.
And it feels obviously lower to the ground, but it doesn't feel cramped. I like it. It feels like a cockpit.
Yeah, I mean, this obviously helps with the glass roof. You can't get that in the Ioniq5N. It gives you, a nice kind of airier and open feel. I love the low dash in your car, though, because you can kind of see over it. It reminds me a lot of some 90s cars. The Ioniq definitely
You remember when I saw this at the Chicago Auto Show and I sat in it? You remember what I said? I was like, this is it. I think this is going to be it.
Yeah,
how that low dash was like.
And you know what? That's what I loved about my cars. So it's great that Tesla decided to keep that in here. And now the one thing that shocks me, Rob, is your interior feels considerably more premium than the Hyundai's.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Like from the materials that they use on the dash and the door panels, this is the leather, the fake leather material. It feels like leather here. I love the ambient light strip that goes along the entire dash.
Yep, and it actually matches up on this side. On that side, there's a little difference.
A little bit, build quality's a little bit there.
The strip gets slightly dimmer right there by the A pillar. It's just a super little OCD thing of me.
Yeah, you are very OCD.
You, Keith would probably get pissed off about it too, but it's okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that they did a wonderful job with the refresh. I even love the carbon fiber, genuine carbon fiber on the dash. The dash vents, however, you can see, very Tesla. I have to go here and I have to adjust the airflow on the actual screen, whereas the Hyundai gives you a more traditional feel with actual vents that you can just move with your finger as opposed to going in the dash. Again, it kind of takes some getting used to. The steering wheel in this car is power tilt telescoping, and you also have power seats in this car. That's something, is that Hyundai has manual seats, and at that price point's inexcusable. It should have power seats with a memory function. Also, with your car, Rob, I have no turn signal stalks or headlight stalks. It's all a button here, which I kind of commented that earlier. Like, you do get used to it. Are you used to it, Rob?
I'm not quite used to it yet.
Really?
There's been a couple of times where I've been driving, and like I showed you, the little ridge that's on there, if you go to turn your turn signal, so put your left thumb on that little ridge, that's the easiest way to do it without looking at it, just doing that. And honestly, you don't have to move your thumb up or down, just slight pressure on the bottom or the top.
That's true.
But there's been times where I've just been cruising and I go to change lanes, and I hit the wrong one still. And I look like a dumbass because I start to merge right.
It's like, who's this idiot who's going the wrong turn signal, right?
I mean, the car only has 800 miles on it, so maybe I'll get used to it, but I think I still would have preferred a traditional one. It's kind of silly, I think. I don't know why they had to do it that way.
It's kind of like they're trying to reinvent the wheel. They didn't need to. They just want to be different for different
The rest of the controls, though, on the wheel, I really like them.
Yeah.
I mean, the windshield wipers, the headlight controls, the voice-to-text and phone functionality, that all works perfectly.
Yeah, which I'm glad you brought up the voice-to-text, because this car does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It doesn't have any kind of phone mirroring. It does have Bluetooth, so like Rob's phone is connected here. We'll have to close that up. It likes to show phone numbers there. You can see there's your Sentry and stuff, Sentry mode. But what I love about this car is like the integration of the software. For example, it has Apple Music built in. It has Apple Podcasts. It has Tidal. It has Spotify. So you can kind of sign in to your Apple Music account, which looks like, Rob, you did, or actually no, you didn't. So you literally just scan that QR code, log in. Everything is there. It also will read text messages aloud to you. It'll do everything that Hyundai will do with the smartphone integration, but it's already built into the native software, so it's not necessarily needed. The other thing is, this is a Tesla. It has a bunch of silliness in the toy box, for example. You can go into emissions, and this car also, it literally has. It farts just like
so stupid.
Just like the Hyundai over there, Rob. Your car also farts.
Oh no, yes. Mine's more realistic though. Okay, if you're eating a can of beans or something. So I don't fart in my car though. Okay, I'm too much of a princess for that.
Yes, absolutely. So I appreciate this the kind of comical,
stupid stuff.
The kid nature, because it's very much Elon Musk's thing. There's even a romance mode, a sketchpad, Mars. Like, in terms of software, if software impresses you, this car will blow you away. I mean, this right here looks like it was pulled out of like a PS5, or it feels like it's an Apple computer that's built into the car. No other car company has this kind of native software that's this fantastic.
And it matches the car so nicely too. I mean,
it does.
You're absolutely right about the software and the over-the-air updates too. I mean, other manufacturers do over-the-air updates, but this one, I mean, it's a weekly thing where you can go in there and there's a small functionality change that's kind of neat, Yeah,
no, absolutely. If you guys are into software, into tech, this will impress you. If you're not into software and tech, the Hyundai will impress you because it has traditional hard buttons and stalks and everything. There's not, a lot of these weird, menus and sub-menus you have to go into with this car. You go to the car icon here. This is kind of where you adjust all your different, controls and whatnot. You can access the Sentry. You can go to your drive mode selector
you want to show them
here.
the track modes?
Yeah, so like here's the drive mode selector when you go into dynamics. Rob constantly, as you can see, drives it in insane because he's insane most of the times on the road. The track mode, as you can see, when you go into the track mode, this is where you can kind of alter a few things. Not quite as intricate as the Hyundais, as Rob had mentioned, but as you can see, you can adjust the oversteer, the understeer, the stability assist. You can turn it off completely, and you can also meddle with the regenerative braking. There's even a post-drive cooling for laps and whatnot. So this is kind of nice. We're not going to be able to take it to a track today because Rob did lease this car, but I appreciate how it shows you your battery and motor temp and your brake temp. And it shows you kind of like what your tire pressures are and everything. So that is a nice little detail that they didn't have, if I remember correctly, on my earlier Model 3.
I will say though, I wish that they had this meter and all the temperatures and stuff on the other drive modes, because just because you're not driving like a maniac on the track, I still like to be able to monitor, as I said, Mr. James May is T's and P's all the time.
T's and P's. Yeah, I mean, I
the rest of the interior though, I really do like. They did a great job with this. I love the wireless phone charger, works really well.
And you have two.
I have two of them.
Two wireless chargers.
I mean, I think you mentioned in the other video, I bought these, so these don't come standard for storage, but the damn cup holders. These stupid little tabs, they're very hard. So like a big water bottle like this, being able to like take it in and out while you're driving.
So it just grips it too tightly.
It really does. I mean, you can get it in and out, but if you've got a drink that's full and doesn't have a lid on it, you're gonna spill it when you take it out of that cup holder.
Yeah, no, I agree. The cup holder does definitely look small, and then you can see your console here. You do have a little more storage.
Yeah, that one's harder to get out. There you go.
Right there, so pretty deep center console, but really the biggest gripe I think you were complaining about is when I go into here and I open up the glove box, which as you can see is
tiny. You can barely fit a fist in there.
It is very small.
It's stupid. I mean, I'm diabetic, so I carry some extra juice in case my blood sugar goes low. I can't even fit a can of juice in here. I mean, okay, great, but that's okay. And like as you said, it closes with a magnet.
Yeah,
that's okay. It is a little bit loud, but it's fine. Yeah, not a big deal.
And then on this, and it's almost 100 degrees outside. I do feel the sun kind of radiating from the sunroof.
I do notice it, but you mentioned it a lot. Martin, who was filming the outside scenes for us, our other editor, he mentioned it. I don't notice it. I really don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm used to being outside in the sun a little bit more, but you're outside all the time too.
I do. Yeah, but I think my dark hair just kind of absorbs the heat. At least what hair I have left.
My gingerness absorbs a little bit of it.
But let's take a look at the back seat, because this is again where the Tesla does have some disadvantages again. Remember, this is the sedan. If you want more backseat space, Tesla will happily sell you a Model Y. But getting back here, I'm the shorter one. I'm 5'7". But
this is going to be interesting because this is where I had the seat.
Oh yes, you don't have to get in if you can't fit.
Let's just see. Let's just see if I can even fit. Not really.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be comfy.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. So
let me get out. Let me get back out.
This is where, again, you might want to consider a Y or that Ioniq5N. You have 34.5 inches of legroom, so there's 5 inches less. Now, again, for somebody my height, I'm back here. Aside from me feeling like I'm roasting to death because the sun's like baking me, it's not bad. Like, I like the fake leather in here. It feels nice. There's perforation in here, but it's not ventilated, just heated back here, which is something the Hyundai doesn't have. No peasant blockers or manual shades, but you can see that nice material kind of carries over here. I love this right here. This is the new 8-inch display that you get for the rear seat passengers, where you can literally control the seat controls. You can control your music, audio. You can watch, just streaming services. You can pull up YouTube, and you can also pair a phone to back here. This has a separate Bluetooth connection, which is very cool. So this is something that Tesla added. I think that they took kind of from the Model S and the Model X, their flagship. But I really like that touch. You have rear seat air vents, 2 USB charging ports, decent foot space underneath here. So it's not bad.
LED light strip comes back here too.
Yeah, that's right. The LED light strip comes back here. So in reality, I mean, if you guys don't have tall friends, you don't need to put like a big car seat back here. This is still obviously usable, but again, if you want more space, be sure to check out the Ioniq or buy a Tesla Model Y instead.
Driving scene, take one, 2025, Hyundai Ioniq5.
I love how you I love that you're mocking me there. Whatever.
When would I not take the opportunity to not? Come on now.
All right, so here we are in the new Ioniq5N, and this is Rob's genuine first time driving it. We're also starting off with the vehicle at 65% state of charge, and that's because I had to drive it down here from PA to meet Rob over in the Baltimore area. But we're in normal mode, which means the dampers are in its more comfort-oriented setting, and all the sounds are turned off. And Rob, what are your first impressions?
From comfort settings, it is more comfortable than my car. I can tell that already. It feels heavier. The steering is a lot less precise actually, but it feels comfortable. It feels like a small SUV right now, which is what it's supposed to, I guess, in its comfort setting.
I guess when you get out of your Model 3, this does feel like an SUV because it's so much wider.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily the wider, but it's sitting up higher. Everything just feels like you're slightly more disconnected from from the wheels, from the steering wheel. But again, we're in comfort settings. So,
what about the ride quality? Is it similar?
It's good. Mine is really good as well, but I think that it's a little more floaty, but that's okay. But it's comfortable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do next is hit the N button that's on the left on the steering wheel.
All right.
So that put it in that mode, and then we'll hit that button there to go into the...
Yes, there's my exhaust sound. I was like, wait, where's that fart can Civic? And let's get around this Sprinter. Oh my God, I've actually pretended to shift. That's hilarious. It changes the power output too at the same time. That's cool. That is neat. Okay, you know what? The sound is still stupid, but it's a visceral experience, and you don't get that from any other EV except for those expensive-ass Porsches that you've been driving over in Europe.
Yes, that is very true. But even the Porsches don't do this, like the rev matching too.
Honestly, if you put a dumb person, which most people are, in this car, they would not know it's an EV based on just those visceral sounds. And honestly, but it's not just the sound; it's the way that you actually get the motion, the jerk of a shifting. And there's a cop behind us. Nothing.
It's okay. We're stealthing.
Everything's fine. We're in a mommy mobile.
But no, I think, Rob, when you mentioned, I think that you hit the nail on the head. If you put somebody who doesn't know cars in this thing with the sounds on, put a blindfold over them as a passenger, they probably would think that this is just a gas car.
They would absolutely think that it was. And should we let the cop pass? No, okay, we'll let the cop pass because that's fine. Yeah, no, honestly, even in this mode, though, the ride is still compliant. It still feels comfortable. It still feels like it's ready to go at the same time, though. And I would be if the cop would, that's fine. Go do your thing. Go pull someone over. But yeah, no, I mean, you want to pass this terrain and just... Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, it really is. It's like, come on. Okay, we can shift now. Jesus. Do I have paddles?
You do.
Yes,
so yeah, if you want to pull the paddles, it actually, as you can feel, it creates a shift, and it sounds like the real thing.
Yeah.
And it's freaking hilarious. It just adds to the whole fun of this car. You didn't really expect it. And if you want, you can also change the sounds. Let's go ahead and go into a different
Which one did I say I liked?
Well, I think you said you liked the Evolution one. So let's go into that mode.
All right. And the cop is not here anymore.
Nope, he went to the other way.
That's very good. We'll just... Nope. I like the other one better. Absolutely like the other one better. From a rev standpoint, I like this one, Evolution, but from a driving perspective, Ignition is cool. Yeah, this sounds like sandpaper on like a PVC pipe. I don't like that one when you're driving it, though. But you have the differences. That's cool.
Right, and so do you notice also the steering in this car? In this mode, it's even more sharp. How does it compare to your Tesla in terms of the quickness and responsiveness and heft of it?
So the steering in this mode, you said, is a little bit heavier, and it is. Still doesn't feel as precise, though. Let's get around here. Sorry.
But you notice it actually will bounce off the limiter, Rob.
That is cool.
That's freaking hilarious.
That is cool. You're not going to get that anywhere else. It's absolutely true. You are correct.
So that's the supersonic. I want you to do another acceleration run, but then when you shift it, listen to what it does.
Okay. Can I put it in manual or not in manual?
Yeah, pull
mode?
the paddle and hold it. And
Yeah,
it'll
like
go into
regular. Okay.
Yep, that'll go to regular automatic.
And we'll just wait for these people to get out of my way. Hopefully the Baltimore airport train doesn't rattle by and leave parts on the road for us to avoid. All right, so once we get past the train tracks here, we can see what the supersonic mode is. I don't think I'm gonna like it already, but we'll see. I don't know. So no train coming. Good. All right. Let's see what the supersonic can do. Why is there like an explosion after
Sonic boom! That's what it's like.
Oh my God! Really? Okay, I get that, but yeah, okay. I still think that's the best.
That's your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the intake noise. The induction noise. The exhaust part of it, and the cracks and popples, and more the fact that it actually changes physically how you feel in the car with the actual motion of the acceleration. It actually cuts back on the motor while it shifts.
Yes.
That's cool. That is really neat.
Yeah, I have to agree. And honestly, Rob, if you had this car, would you drive it with the sounds on or off all the time?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like I would, unless I was just having a terrible day and I was just like pissed off, and I'd be like, no, screw this. I just need to get where I'm gonna go. I'd keep it on most of the time.
Okay.
But again, that's me driving the car for the first time for 10 minutes. After, a week or a month, would I get sick of it?
Now you can turn off the sounds if you'd like. Like you can literally turn everything off if you want. You can also adjust the volume of the sound.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yep.
Can you turn it down slightly? Because it's a little much.
This is the loudest setting right here.
Yeah.
So like you can go down to like half that.
I would probably keep it at this level. Yeah.
Right.
I would probably keep it half volume, and I would be on probably much all the time.
Okay.
I think. Yep.
And that's fair. That is definitely fair.
I'm still young enough to have
You're
a
still
little
young.
bit.
Now the one thing you haven't tried, Rob, is launching it. If you could launch it really quick at the next turn.
Yeah, we can. Let's go past the park that we were at.
And then we'll kind of end it there and we'll hop into your car.
Nope, nobody over there. Go ahead, set it up.
All right, so once you get... All right, so Rob hasn't had a chance to launch it yet. So when you want to launch it, you literally just push this button over here, activate, and then brake torque it. And then let go. Oh.
It's quick. It's quick. I'm not sure it's as quick as my car, though. I don't know. I mean, there's also 3 of us in here, but But
yes,
like
Martin is sitting behind me.
It's supposed to be 0.2 slower, right?
Yeah, so I got 3.06 seconds when I tested it in the individual video, and your car we got 2.9. So in reality, this car is a little slower.
Yeah, but it's not that big of a difference.
It was
still quick. It was still quick.
Right.
I've only launched my car once or twice, so we'll have to get into that and see how that feels.
So I actually want you, when we turn right up ahead there, I want you to try launching it again, just really quick, because the sounds were off, which they weren't supposed to be off, but they were. I just want you to hear what it creates when you do brake torque it.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, for sakes.
What's it doing?
It's not going to let me launch it.
Why not?
Turn it on again.
Did you break the Hyundai?
Put your foot on the brake.
It is.
Okay. Come on. There you go. All right, push N mode. There we go.
Yeah?
Yep.
Good to go?
Yep.
All right, let's give this a shot again.
Oh, wait, no. F***ing hell. This is so irritating. It's on.
Have fun editing, Bob.
All right, it's on. Try again. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, f***ing hell. Hopefully there's nobody coming.
Nope.
All right, it's on. Try again. It's still not doing it. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Fine, whatever. It's not going to work.
Well,
Oh, you're not in drive, Rob.
son of a bitch.
That's
why is it not in drive?
Because I turned off the car.
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go. Now try again. Now it'll work. Oh.
Woo, okay.
Okay. There you go. Those brakes work.
The sound adds to it. The sound does add to it.
Right. That's why I was mad that it didn't have the sound before. But I was like, okay.
Again, the visceral experience. That's what Hyundai gives you, is that extra, the sounds and the actual feeling of changing in power while it shifts. That's great.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So, Rob, we are now driving your spaceship. Your very low sports sedan. I'm definitely noticing how much lower this car sits.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I mean, I love it because I love how low the dash is. I can see pretty much everything ahead of me. This pillar is still very large, but you kind of get used to the driving feel.
Yeah, I didn't have any visibility issues in the end, but once you get in this, you actually do appreciate it.
Yes.
It's almost Subaru-esque, like as far as visibility with the low dash. You're right.
I definitely am noticing your car rides firmer. Now, it is in its stiffer setting right now. This kind of reminds me of the Ioniq5N when it's in its stiffest setting.
Like I said, the comfort setting in that N is more comfortable than the I'm sure. Well, so right now we're in dynamics. You can't change the actual suspension unless you go to the track mode, is where you can actually change it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a way you could actually change it.
You can actually.
You
but
can?
That's the softer setting, standard.
Oh, it does say ride and handling. I don't know how to read. Sorry, I just, so
that's okay.
That does feel actually more comfortable.
It makes an instant difference. It's not quite as soft as the comfort setting in the Ioniq5N, which is shocking to me because the Hyundai has 21-inch wheels. Bigger wheels and tires, and I started looking for a phantom turn signal stock here. I was looking for that.
Just like in that one, I went to start there, just put it in drive by swiping up on the screen.
Now I will say that your car has almost like a different feel. I mean, the lack of turn signals, the fact that it has no gear selector as well. Put my foot down here. Yes, your car has a lot less power, but also has a lot less weight. It still feels fast as hell. This thing will accelerate so fast.
Especially when you're not expecting it.
But at the same time, like, there's no visceral feel with this car.
There's no sounds, you're right.
There's no sounds, which I mean, some people are like, I don't want a fake sound. Why would I want my car to make fake noises? But I say, why not?
But they haven't been exposed to something like what we just got out of in the end and actually experienced it, you know? That experiencing it sells it. It really does. I mean, I still prefer the drive dynamics of this car. I still prefer this car overall, but if this had sounds, I would use them.
And I personally don't think Tesla will ever do those fake sounds because I think Elon Musk thinks they're stupid. But I think that it's a missed opportunity for them. I mean, the rest of the driving demeanor with this car, like, I love these seats. They hold you in place. I think the padding is better in these seats versus the Hyundai seats. The Hyundais feel a little bit harder.
Right.
The cooled seat, I think, in the Hyundai, I thought feels a little bit more. I feel it a little bit more.
It worked a little bit better. You're right.
Yeah.
It worked a little bit better.
And maybe it has to do with the fact that it has Alcantara. Maybe that also helps.
I also noticed. I feel like the seats, the bottom cushion in the Hyundai came out a little bit more and gave me a little more thigh support. But then also maybe that like I said, the floor space, the foot space, your knees are higher for me. You fit in pretty well, but mine, you look like my knees are a good 6 inches higher than yours right now.
Yeah, Martin and I were talking about this. Is like I'm the right height to fit into everything, basically. So I'm very grateful for that. I mean,
I also don't have the seat adjusted as I normally would your seat. I'm not driving,
but you know, in terms of handling, this thing still has amazing road manners. Like the steering feels quick and sharp and direct. The suspension stays nice and flat. It handles bumps and whatnot nicely. There's not a single squeak and rattle in this car.
Absolutely.
Which shocked me because Tesla usually gets a lot of flack for their lack of build quality, but
it's been great. It's been great. I really like the indicators. And so in the other video, you were getting flack for saying this was new. I know you hadn't driven a Tesla in a long time. That's been there for a long. But the
Redline
indicator in the speaker is new. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. It's a very simple, subtle thing. It's not a specific shape or a graphic. It's just hey, we got a little light there. I really like that, like attention to detail.
Right. I also want to point out, like, the autopilot in this car, which you have it turned on for the trial setting, it works on city streets. That's something where Tesla's autopilot works on city streets versus like GM Super Cruise only works on closed highways and whatnot.
I wouldn't use it in city streets anyway. I don't trust anything that much, but like on side roads, it works well too, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I probably wouldn't trust it on city streets because I don't trust people on the roads, but this thing. Even with 3 like grown men in this car, this thing still feels stupid fast. I mean, we got 2.9 seconds when I was just by myself. In a drag race, this car definitely, I think, would smoke not smoke it, but it would be the faster option.
Step away maybe, but I think it would be a lot closer than we might realize. But we may have to investigate that later. We'll see. Even going over those train tracks, like, it handles it like a champ.
Yeah.
Like, my Y would be a lot more crashier.
All right, just because we launched the Ioniq, let's go ahead and launch the Tesla. It doesn't have any fancy launch control. Basically, you just have it in insane mode.
Oh! Yes.
So yes, even though this doesn't quite have the visceral excitement, you definitely this feels a little quicker. Do you notice that as well, Rob? Like just from
I wouldn't have been able to say just off the bat that it is. It's the sounds and the changes and the shifts and the way the Hyundai makes you feel like more in a traditional car.
Right.
It almost makes it equalized, I feel like. I don't know, it would be interesting to see actual speed, how fast, which one's faster, but from a seat of the pants, they feel pretty even, to be honest with you. Okay. Start talking.
All right. We're gonna try a quick little race here. Brake torque it, Rob. All right, ready? Yes, the RAV4, but as expected, this car is a little bit slower, so that's okay.
Go.
It's like, nope. I also couldn't activate the launch control there because it was telling me that the launch was not available.
Wah, wah. Well, that's pretty much what we expected, though. Faster, but not by a gigantic margin, you know?
Right, yeah. All right, Rob, let's wrap up this video after we just got out of the Tesla, because I have to say, both of these two cars, even though they couldn't look different,
they can't.
Yeah, I really find them to be also very similar. I mean, you finally had a chance to drive the Ioniq 5N. What are your final thoughts on it?
So the N, I like it more than I thought that I would. I like what Hyundai, oh Jesus, I almost said the wrong thing. I like what Hyundai and Kia and Genesis, that whole group has done in the last 10 years of their existence anyway. They've pushed boundaries, they've pushed the envelope, they've redefined a lot of technology in this segment, and this is them continuing to do the same thing. I mean, the sounds and the visceral experience is like nothing else that's out there. I think it's impressive. I like it a lot. Is it for me? I don't think so.
Really? Because that was my next question. Do you regret buying this over that?
I have no regrets on this car. This car, my 3, is amazing. The 3 Performance, it checks all the boxes that I want to. Tesla is a brand. I won't delve into that right now. The buyer experience was definitely subpar. I'm sure it would be easier to get this car, more pleasant to talk to people when buying this car, easier to get support for this car. But that's a different situation. We won't talk about that. The car itself, it's wonderful. I don't have any regrets, no.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that. Now, one thing I don't know if I mentioned to you is the pricing on this. Your car was about $57,000 as equipped. It's actually $2,000 more expensive than a Model Y Performance. That kind of shows you how Tesla is trying to give away the Model Ys right now while they make room for the new one. This Hyundai, however, starts at $66,100. With destination, you're at $68,000. This car is a solid $10,000 more than your Model 3. And that's where I have issue with the car because, you know,
surprising.
It is very surprising because if you were looking in this space, the Tesla has dropped the price so much on this car, and the Model Y is even cheaper. So don't even start to say like we have the wrong car because the Y is cheaper. You can also look at something like the Mach-E GT, which is also in the mid $50,000 range. There's the upcoming Blazer SS. There's the Genesis GV60 Performance Edition. I mean, and then there's the Kia EV6 GT, which is around $62,000. So $68,000 for this car. I think what Hyundai did here is they do offer a car that is very track capable right out of the box. It has the visceral sounds. It has a ton of practicality. But I do think that Hyundai has priced this car a little too high. For me personally, I would buy this over the Tesla if it was the same price. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't particularly think it's worth $10,000 more. Now, if you guys want that, you know, unique experience, and also keep in mind, if you live in California, you see these everywhere.
Yeah, you do. And we're in California so much for media events, and every third car is a white Tesla. And
is a white Tesla.
After I ordered mine, I was like, okay, great, wonderful. But yeah, here on the East Coast, it's not as common.
Yeah, I think you said you wouldn't buy a white car if you had.
If I was in California, it wouldn't have been white. No, it would have been something else. But I wish they offered more unique colors. Honestly, they really don't. But I like the white. To revisit what you're saying about the price in this car, I really think that they were targeting what they see other brands like Honda doing with the Type R, with Volkswagen with the Golf R. They know that they can charge a little bit more for a more unique car.
Right.
Are they charging for the actual amount of the performance that you get or track capability? Yeah, but they're also charging for the uniqueness. I mean, no one else is going to have this car, you know?
Yeah, no, and I think if you want that uniqueness, you want the sounds, you want something that stands out, you know, you're going to pay the extra money for it. I think that if Hyundai wants to continue the success of the Ioniq5N, I think they are going to have to consider at least dropping the price by $5,000.
Especially with how aggressive Tesla is.
I think if this car loaded was like 62 loaded instead of 68, I think I'd find it more justifiable to spend $5,000 more for the Hyundai versus the Tesla.
Would you spend the $5,000 over this for that one though? You said same price, you'd get this.
If the same price, yes. If it was $5,000 more, I probably would seriously consider it because as a daily driver, this is easier. This has more space, more practicality. It's a little bit more comfortable, which really surprised me actually.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, there's no wrong answer here. So it just kind of depends, you know, which car tickles your fancy more and what your budget is. Because again, if you guys have the means and you decided you want this, I wouldn't fault you for choosing the Hyundai either. They're both really fantastic EVs that will embarrass any supercar when you pull up next to it at the lights. But with all that said, I want to thank Rob, of course, for joining us and letting us borrow his Model 3. I also want to thank Martin from behind the camera. It's literally over 100 degrees out here, so thank you, Martin, for dealing with the heat. If you guys are also looking to see the latest cars that we're testing, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please be sure to keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel. We'll see you all in the next video. Take care.